Greetings, thank you for joining me today. This is Ready Set Go, and coming off the back of Kawasaki's recent virtual event where they teased their very first hybrid bike, this video asks the question, hybrid motorcycles, is it too little, too late? So, just the other day, Kawasaki held a huge virtual event online where they pulled the covers off a host of new machines for 2021, including the new ZX-10R and the new H2 SE featuring its exciting Skyhook suspension technology. But what was also interesting about this event was the reveal that Kawasaki have been busy behind the scenes developing a new hybrid motorcycle, one that uses both an internal combustion engine complemented by an electric motor powered by a rechargeable battery. Now, hybrid engines are nothing new. Hybrid cars are everywhere and have been on our roads for over 2 decades, but we've not seen any development or news from the big manufacturers into the development of hybrid motorcycles. Until now. In the months leading up to this reveal, Kawasaki have filed numerous patents into the development of a hybrid engine, where most, if not all, the other big manufacturers have been pushing forward towards electric research. Kawasaki appears to have taken a step sideways. Their video package even gave insights as to how the bike will operate under the new powertrain, utilizing the petrol engine for the motorways, switching to the battery when in the city, and then using a combination of the two for the twisties. Now, here in the UK, the government recently announced strict new measures to ban the sale of conventional petrol-powered cars by 2030. By 2035, most hybrid cars will also be banned from sale. This means in less than 15 years, assuming the laws are passed, conventional fossil fuel-driven cars will stop rolling out of UK showrooms forever and represent a seismic shift in the motor industry, one that the manufacturers and us as consumers will have to adapt to. So time is running out for petrol power. Even though motorcycles have dodged restrictions up until now, we have to assume that tighter restrictions may be around the next bend. Enter Kawasaki. Just days after the UK government revealed these future restrictions, the Japanese manufacturer unveils their exciting new hybrid technology, and I couldn't help but think, is it all too little, too late for the hybrid motorcycle? To get a better understanding, let's quickly jump into the car world. Hybrid cars have been around for decades and were being built long before strict emissions targets came into play. Way back in 1993, Toyota honorary chairman urged the company to start thinking about a new vision for its cars, one that would prepare them for the 21st century, which led to the concept of the Prius. The driving force behind the design of the Prius was a car to tackle the global challenges of energy resources, global warming and air pollution, and deliver on its key promise to customers, to offer fuel efficiency double of what a conventional car could achieve. By 1997, the first Prius rolled out of the showrooms. This has given us over 2 decades of hybrid awareness, and we, as buyers, have acclimatized to it. We are not so freaked out anymore by the hybrid badge, and combination engines are no longer just for climate activists and screenplay writers. If we take the Prius as a comparative example, what kind of weight and performance could we expect from a hybrid bike? The Prius packs a 1.8-litre engine, putting displacement around twice the size of your average middleweight naked motorbike. Let's use the Yamaha MT09 as our example. The Prius punches out a modest 96 brake horsepower, but combined with its symbiotic motor, peak power is pushed to 130 brake horsepower. The performance, however, is blunted by the car's 1.5-ton weight. The Prius hybrid technology accounts for roughly 20% of the car's mass. If we take our Yamaha MT09 and increase its weight by 20%, the bike weight will climb from 189 kilos to 227 kilos. Now that sounds like a lot, but the Kawasaki GP-Z900R stole the headlines in the 80s, and that weighed 1 kilogram more at 228 kilos. So this weight gain, in my opinion, is certainly manageable. What about power? Running on the battery alone, we could estimate that our fictional MT09 hybrid motor, like the Prius, could be able to generate 80% power of the petrol engine. around 90 brake horsepower, albeit for a very limited amount of time until the battery drains. However, like most hybrids, that electric power is delivered low down, which is great when pulling away from a standstill, but the more you twist the throttle, the petrol engine kicks in and takes over. With ever stricter emissions regulations like Euro 5, motorcycle manufacturers don't seem to have the luxury of time when it comes to developing new technology to join the fight in saving the planet. Today, bike manufacturers pack their machines with more emissions monitoring technology than ever before. Bigger catalytic converters, multiple catalytic converters, heck, the Yamaha R1 has 4 cats on it. And then there are things like variable valve timing technology, which we see on the Ducati Multistrada, BMW S1000RR and the BMW R1250 GS, all designed to keep emissions to a minimum. To give you an idea as to how much this technology works, compared to the first Euro 1 standard back in 1999, Euro 5 motorcycles now produce 96.6% less hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxide, whilst carbon monoxide emissions have been reduced by 92.3%. This is a huge drop, but is it enough? Let's look at the new 2021 Yamaha MT09. The new MT spews out 116 grams per kilometre of CO2. Compared to this, the Prius hybrid outshines the MT09, spewing out only 79 grams per kilometre of CO2. So looking at the numbers side by side, our petrol-powered motorcycle is teetering on the edge. Or is it? What motorcycles have going for them is the average mileage they are ridden each year. Most bikers will put their machines away for the winter and ride when weather is more favourable, meaning the average biker will record just 3,000 miles per year compared to the 12,000 miles per year from a car user. An MT09 travelling 3,000 miles each year will produce 560,000 grams of CO2, compared to a Prius rolling through 12,000 miles producing 1.5 million grams of CO2. So by the very manner in which we use bikes, they actually produce less emissions. But we can't assume that petrol-powered bikes have endless years of life left in them, especially when new fossil fuel-driven cars will be banned from sale by 2030. And, as the emissions figures we've just looked at reveal, the margins between Euro 5 spec bikes and modern hybrid cars are quite slim. So when fossil fuel restrictions do eventually come into play for motorcycles, what are the options? Hybrid? Or why not just go full electric? As we all know, electric bikes are everywhere, with manufacturers like Zero, Energica, and a little-known brand called Harley-Davidson producing more accessible and capable electric options while retail prices drop each year. Electric bikes are no longer just a motor show pipe dream, far from it. Even MotoGP's electric-based sister competition Moto E provides stunning racing and showcases just how exhilarating full electric bikes can be. So, with increasing advances in electric technology and our steady acclimatization to it, why is Kawasaki going down the hybrid route at all? It could be price. Most hybrid cars are roughly 30% more expensive than their petrol-driven counterparts. This could equate to our Yamaha MT09 hybrid jumping in price from £8,600 to £11,180. Then take a full electric bike like Zero's SRF, a naked roadster punching out 110 brake horsepower with a battery range of 200 miles and a charge time of just 80 minutes. This bike will cost you £19,000, which is almost double that of a standard MT09 and £7,800 more than our fictional MT09 hybrid. So if Kawasaki produces a hybrid as a kind of halfway house between petrol bike prices and electric bike prices, they could scoop up some of the market over the remaining petrol years. At this point, I have to give a shout out to a little known French company called Furion Motorcycles, who have been working hard on a hybrid bike. The only other manufacturer I could find anywhere on the web that has done this. Furion's bike is called the M1 and is based on a Yamaha R6, which they hope will go on sale in 2021. It will weigh 210 kilograms, produce a combined power output of 170 brake horsepower, and was showcased at Le Mans in 2018. What's interesting to note is how Furion described the immediate power offered by the M1 electric motor, while reducing emissions by 30%. It sounds quite impressive. The only drawback: would you want to pay the €30,000 price tag to go hybrid? We have to assume that Kawasaki will have lower production costs, and if their prices mirror the car industry, they could compete with electric manufacturers by offering a slightly cheaper bike for a slightly greener machine. Compared to electric charging points, there are gas stations everywhere, so you could argue that hybrids are much more convenient with quicker refueling times compared to Zero's SRF, which needs 80 minutes to reach a solid charge. Gas stations will be around for at least another 20 years, while petrol-powered cars run off and people transfer to electric vehicles. But what we can't anticipate is what will happen to the price of fuel over that time. We can only assume it will increase as less car owners need it. So Kawasaki, why not just go full electric? We can't exactly see what the final hybrid bike will look like in this video, but there are familiar components on show, including the swing arm, wheel and sprocket from a Z900, while the frame, which of course will house the engine and hybrid technology, look to be from a Z400. We mentioned weight earlier, but remember, all this hybrid technology needs to be stored somewhere, and it can take up a lot of room, so it makes sense to use a smaller engine to make room for the hybrid parts. Like we saw in Furion's M1, a compact R6 engine boosted by an electric one to 170 brake horsepower when you need it. But this all brings me back to my original question: hybrid motorcycles, is it too little, too late? With time apparently running out for petrol-powered transport, would Kawasaki's hybrid enjoy just the twilight of the fossil-fueled era, or are they really onto something? In recent times, it's safe to say that our vision for the future of motorcycling has become an electric one. Every year, more electric bikes show up at the trade shows. Celebrities ride them across the continents. Premier class racers fight for the electric MotoGP crown. And almost every major supermarket in the UK now has an electric charging station. Electric appears to be where it's at. While we wait to see what new restrictions lay ahead and for Kawasaki to tell us more about their new hybrid, we can only speculate and wonder how our future in biking will pan out. In the meantime, I hope this video has stirred a few questions and got you thinking, which brings me to a question for you. What kind of new bike will you be buying 10 years from now? Electric? Hybrid? Do you think pure petrol-powered bikes still have years of life left in them? Or do you think that it's too little too late for the hybrid motorcycle? Please drop a comment below and join the discussion. If you are new to the channel, then please make sure to subscribe to see future motorcycle content and pop a thumbs up on the video to support the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. I've been Eddie Set Go. I hope you ride safe, stay safe. I'll see you next time.